Hey, so I wanted to give you an instructional that was as broad as possible about the place command. I sent you a video of the early days when Bellamy was here and she was just learning what place means. And I was using a cot that was elevated to help better illustrate for her where her paws were allowed and where they were not allowed. So an elevated bed can really be helpful with that. She really got the concept down. So now I've switched over to her regular bed. And her regular bed is now becoming place for her. I thought that would be easier. You can throw it. Now, that is not to say that at any time you can't make something else place. So you see over there that brown cot that my dogs also like to use. That brown cot is what she started learning on. When it was time for me to switch her to her personal bed, I just did some repetitions and got her acclimated to that. You can then add any other bed that you want to add as well. So let me show you when we are working on place. When you first start practicing, you just want to do some warm-ups. And here's what this looks like. You lead her over, and just as she's about to step up, you say place. You say it once and only once. You never repeat it again. All right, here we go. Let's go, baby. Place. Now, I steer her. I don't tell her to sit and I don't tell her to lay down. I just steer her so that she remembers all four paws go on it. I move away. I pause for a few seconds. And then when I give her the release word, I tug on the collar just to make sure she understands it. Break. Yes, good girl. So you have two words only, place and then break to release her. You only say either of those words once, and it is important to understand that those two commands are equally important. Place is no more important than break. Break is what gives her context. She understands that she is waiting to hear break, so she must stay there until she does. So when you see me tugging on her leash, it's because I have to make sure that she understands what break means. When I tell a dog break in the teaching stages, I make them get off, even if they don't care about getting off. I make them get off. We must know that she understands break and complies just as well as with place. Let's do a couple more warm-ups. Place. Yes. No treats, no rewards. The purpose of the place command is to help her learn to relax and dial down and just be peaceful. If we start giving her treats as rewards, it accelerates the brain again. It puts her back into a form of prey drive. So we keep it calm. Gonna drop the leash. This is a little bit of proofing. Now, if she were to get off early, I would not say any words to her. I would just pick up the leash and lead her back on. When we reset a dog who has gotten off early, we don't repeat the command. We don't give rewards, we don't punish. We just quietly move her back on. Many times picking up the leash will be what causes a dog to hop off. There we go. She stepped off early, I put her back on. Now you'll notice that I am doing this in the presence of my dogs. I want her to be in a normal environment now. She's already been through plenty of no distraction training. So she's ready for there to be plenty of distraction. Now notice I'm walking away. I am not going to give her the release word. I will always walk over here, even when I no longer use a leash. I will walk to her and release her. That walking over and releasing her helps to keep her brain calmer. She's not waiting to spring off the bed. Break. Yes, good girl. So we do these repetitions, I don't know, you could go 5 or 10 minutes where you leave her on for a little bit and then you break her, you leave her and you break her, and you will gradually proof more and more. You want to, the purpose of proofing is that you are gradually adding a little bit more distraction or a little bit more excitement, and you're helping her learn to develop impulse control so that she keeps herself on in spite of distraction or excitement. So you saw me doing a little bit of proofing. Now let's see what she does. You see those stairs behind Charlotte? They lead to the backyard. If she thinks I'm going down those stairs, the odds are she's gonna pop off of the bed and come follow me. So my walking around here is low level excitement. My walking toward the steps to go down into the yard, that is much more exciting to her. So let's go ahead and do that. It's a little early at this stage, but let's go ahead and do that. Place. You see, she knows darn well what place means, but you see, just then she paused because she can be a little stubborn. So I walk in the direction of the steps. And onto the steps. So this is excellent. That she's not popping off right now is really good. So I've just done a little bit higher level proofing. So you were gradually adding a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Now, we do some sessions with her. You do some sessions with her. Good. So you see on that one, she stepped one paw off. I didn't have to steer her back on. I just stepped toward her, a little spatial pressure, and she's back on. Break. Good girl. So you see how when she breaks, now she's ready to go over behind where the camera is, dogs and people are passing by on the street. So you do some practice sessions where you're putting her on place and you're creating distractions or excitement. If she gets off early, you just put her back on. You put her back on. Then every once in a while, depending on what goes on at your home, your lifestyle, like Deb and I will often, Deb's not home tonight, but Deb and I will often sit out here before dinner and have a drink, which is what I'm about to do. And I sent you video of this, but here's the idea. Perfect time to put her in place, because what she's used to when we're out here is she's busy, busy, busy. She'll be running and checking people who are going by over here. She'll be going up and down the stairs to the yard and chasing birds. So she has plenty of time out here where she's busy, busy, busy. This place represents fun and freedom to her, which is great. But now I'm gonna go and turn my little cocktail hour into some teachable time. Place. So she goes there. You can expect with the place command that it will take a dog 2,000 practice sessions, months before a dog really masters it. But the more you do it in normal life situations like this, the better she will get. So you see, again, I did not tell her to sit or lay down. She is just there having to figure out that this is it. She's going to be hanging out here for a while. If I left the camera running for 5 or 10 minutes, you would see that she eventually lays down and relaxes. I think I sent you footage of that. So if she starts to pop off, I say nothing and I just steer her back and I steer her back. You will notice that I put her bed over here, whereas my dogs are over here, because any excitement that exists, or if I was at a restaurant and people walked by this way, I always want her to be to my side or even behind me, away from the traffic, because that gives her a better sense of calm. I don't want to have her out in the middle of where people are moving and walking and so forth, so I put her to the side. But you see that I'm not putting any pressure on the leash. I am not holding and restraining her on. Now, depending on your situation, if you have the ability to tether her when she's in place, you can tether her in such a way that she has plenty of slack that will allow her to lay down or sit or stand comfortably. But if she starts to get off, she's tethered, so she steps off and self-corrects. And if she's stepping off and self-correcting, then she's learning. So even if you are not the one putting her back on, even if she started to step off, and you can see right now I've got her tethered to the chair. If my tether is too long and she's able to step all 4 paws off and be off of it, that's too long. You want a tether that keeps her, no matter what direction she goes in, that limits her for getting 1, maybe 2 paws off. But you want for any effort to step off the bed to put pressure on her so that she goes back on it. And you have to be able to do that from whatever direction she can step off. So tethering, trainers call it back time, but tethering is a perfectly acceptable way to help teach her. So you don't have to always be the one on the line. You can tether her like she is now. And even if she gets off and stands and just holds the tension, you can move her back. But don't hesitate if you can comfortably tether her in a way that keeps her on there. So you do sessions, practice sessions, you give her temptation, you give her excitement, you give her distraction. That works on her impulse control, which is really good for any dog, but especially a slightly anxious dog. And then, perhaps even more important, you work on building her endurance, the duration on which she spends on that bed. Because right now, because she's anxious, she is slower to lay down than a lot of dogs might be. But you can see that she is sitting there. She gets to watch some birds going crazy. She's sitting there with my girls over there, and she is very relaxed. Her energy is very chill. And we want to be able to give her that in the course of a day. Because she doesn't, you see how my girls are also old, but a lot of dogs downshift of their own volition, of their own doing. She does not. She paces or she falls asleep, one or the other. So what we're saying to her is there's another option. And the more times that you give her this option, the more that she's gonna find a pattern that helps her do this. All right? So good stuff. Over and out.